John Adams smelled freedom and liberty before almost anyone else in the country.
The same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe.
He could taste it. He knew what it was like.
The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God.
I'm losing my freedom and my liberty, and it's slipping right through my hand.
Without God, there is a coarsening of the society. And without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure.
John Adams would say, no wonder it is. You put no trespassing signs at the door in the marketplace of ideas, and saying in America, you don't have a place anymore for faith and religion and morality to even come in.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
He said statesmen can plan and speculate about liberty, but it is only religion and faith and morality that can birth the principles that can secure freedom.
The anti-faith, anti-God groups, they are committed to removing God in America, and they have an agenda, and it's very specific.
I have a copy of the Declaration of Independence and the 56 signers of that document, and it contained 2 revolutionary propositions. The second proposition was that you and I had a certain set of rights. Those rights I simply loaned to government, who used them for me. But the first proposition, and this was even greater, was that those rights had been given to us by a Creator, and that if they were given to us by a Creator, they couldn't be taken away.
Why would they want to do that? Who wants to remove God from America? It's not the majority of Americans, it's just a handful of people, and why?
This big attack on faith across the country is designed to separate that Creator from those rights. If they can convince us the Creator never existed, He doesn't live, He isn't true today, or if they can convince us that there's no nexus between that Creator and the rights, that we can't talk about that nexus, they have won the argument that either the rights don't exist or that those rights were given to us by the state. If they were given to us by the state, then what the state has given to us, the state can take away.
It's the very things our founding fathers said we have to fight against every generation. We will have to fight for our freedom, because America can only stand if the majority of people are religious and good people who love freedom, who love liberty, and want to remain a free republic.
The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God.
The true source of power is not found in the halls of Congress or the chambers of the Supreme Court or the West Wing of the White House, but it's found in the power of prayer before the throne of God.
The Congressional Prayer Caucus is an official U.S. House caucus with over 100 members.
Prayer Caucus has been a great way to bring together members of Congress. We leave political labels at the door. We come together and let's just pray for wisdom.
Whether you are the furthest on the right or the furthest on the left, you're all of one size in that room before God.
There are members of Congress who understand that there are limitations to ourselves and limitations to government.
My mother and father raised me to believe in something that is greater than myself. When you come into those hard times, I mean, you have to have prayer, you have to have a conviction of spirit.
There's a very special fellowship that happens, even across the political divide, when men and women of faith come together.
The Congressional Prayer Caucus Foundation is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization, and we are designed for the purpose of working alongside our elected leaders that are spearheading a movement to literally change the direction, realign the direction of America.
So if in fact we were a nation that was birthed on those Judeo-Christian principles, what was that moment in time when we ceased to so be? It wasn't when a small group of people succeeded in taking prayer out of our schools, or when they tried to cover up the word referencing God on the Washington Monument, or they tried to stop our veterans from having flag folding ceremonies at their funerals on voluntary basis because they mentioned God, or even when they tried in the new visitor center to change that national motto and to refuse to put "In God We Trust" in there. No, Mr. Speaker, it wasn't any of those times, because they can rip that word off of all of our buildings, and still those Judeo-Christian principles are so interwoven in a tapestry of freedom and liberty that to begin to unravel one is to unravel the other.
The movement is now, we have the momentum. We now have members of Congress, nearly 20 states who are on board and forming caucuses, hundreds of legislators that are now joining this movement. We have members of your city councils and your school boards that are standing together, that are forming a grassroots movement, that are saying, we're drawing a line in the sand. We're going to win because this is what America was founded for.
We can get a letter signed, an amendment signed by 100 members of Congress within an hour. And we rolled back that Washington Monument problem, and we made the Park Service reverse it. If you have a veteran that dies in your family, you have a right, once again, to have a flag folding ceremony, even though it mentions God. The architect of the Capitol refused. Speaker Pelosi came out, backed the architect of the Capitol up, said he was exactly right. By Thursday, we had 2.5 million emails hitting Washington, and on Thursday, they backed off of that. Today, once again, you can have God on flag certificates across the country. And I said, I want you to take off the part that says our national motto is E pluribus unum. And they said, you mean you want us to actually pull it out of the stone? And I said, pull it out of the stone because it's a lie. I said, we want In God We Trust engraved in stone. If you walk in the visitor center today, In God We Trust has been engraved in stone. I said, we want the Pledge of Allegiance. We want the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag engraved in stone, so you can't change it tomorrow when we leave. Today, the Pledge of Allegiance has been engraved in stone.
The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.